extremely powerful. And Nadam in itself has the power to heal. And the vibration, I don't know what the Parabrahman's vibration is. If we connect to that vibration, probably that is what the Siddha Purushas have done.
If you were not a musician today, what would you be? In Carnatic music, there are 72 foundational concepts. And when you look at the sky, the earth shifts 1 degree every 72 years. 72 Tales is all about uncovering those hidden frequencies, one conversation at a time. I'm Swapna Raghavan, and this is 72 Tales. And joining me tonight is Nadamuni Gayatri Bharat, who lives at the intersection of music and consciousness. Let's welcome her. We'll start with a very simple question.
Okay.
And because it's the beautiful night of Mahashivratri, they say that the first beat was created by Lord Shiva's drum. So how do you manage the rhythm of your life around all the chaos and noise that we have today?
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you for this conversation, Swapna. How do I manage my rhythm? Rhythm is very important for everyone's life, actually, not just musicians' life. Music is everything for me, and I'm able to connect with my Ishtadeva through my music. Through meditation, through mantra japa, through nama japa, I'm able to connect. I'm able to experience my Ishtadevam through this, and that keeps me going. So the rhythm, if we know the deep rhythm of our life, then we can continue our life. So for me, it is connecting with my Ishtadevam is the rhythm of my life, and the medium. Music is a medium to connect. And of course, I spend a lot of hours in meditation, mantra japa, all those things as well. So I can't separate music from spirituality. And whether I sing, as I mentioned already, whether I sing in the house or whether I sing on stage, along the only difference is there we have many musicians to collaborate with, interact with, and it's lots of, it's so much divine. Doesn't really matter, but when I'm singing on stage, I look forward to connecting with the divinity within the.
Do you think divinity is something that you experience only within the Carnatic music framework, or is it universal across all genres?
Look, I know only Carnatic music. I mean, I'm trained in both Carnatic and Hindustani music, and I take good aspects of both and give it to the audience. But now I've started collaborating with jazz musicians, Shakti Spirit, and I know only Indian classical music. With my very limited knowledge in jazz music, I cannot talk about other genres, but I really enjoy interacting with the other genre musicians. I've always loved collaborations. But answer to your question, the divinity I'm able to experience only through my music, through my Carnatic music, through my own music, which is Indian classical music. Even when I collaborate, I only sing Carnatic music. Even when I sing along with our band, Shakti Spirit, there also I'm only singing Carnatic music. So I'm able to experience it, my divine, my Ishtadeva, only through my music. It's up to the listener to, explain what divinity they experience.
Do people feel connected because of the frequencies behind those music, or let's say the vibrations that you get from the music? Is that the reason?
Vibration, I would say. Because what is inside you is the same thing inside me, the Parabrahma. The eternal supreme being is there. The minute the eternal supreme being leaves his body, we're dead, right? The minute the Paramatma leaves, we're dead. So the Paramatma, whether you believe or not, the eternal supreme being is inside every human being. You might argue, oh no, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in that, but you still believe in stillness. You still appreciate the beauty of the nature. You still appreciate the universe. You do, right? If you're an atheist. So, so there is divinity in all of us. What is this divinity? Do you know the definition of divinity? To me, it's Parabrahma, the eternal supreme being inside you. I mean, you experience this as your Ishtadevam. Ishtadevam can be anybody, Rama, Krishna, Andal, Anumar, or Amba, Shiva, Bhairava, or Muruga, anybody. That is your Ishtadev. You see, because there are so many dimensions, right? As you meditate, as you go deep into the meditation, you can literally experience so much of out-of-body experience, right? We do get a lot of out-of-body experiences. So that's all different dimensions opening up. Music opens a lot of dimensions for musicians like us, right? So, it's the vibration. I don't know what the Parabrahmam's vibration is. If we connect to that vibration, probably that is what the Siddha Purushas have done. I don't know. There might be a special vibration, but that vibration is common. If there is an XYZ vibration, as you just mentioned 430, or I don't know what it is, but if that is, if you're able to figure it out, which is very good, but that exists, right? If I'm able to touch you, whether you're an atheist or you believer, you don't know anything about Carnatic music, if I'm able to touch, which means the divinity inside you is happy with the sound that is coming out from me.
Ragas is the core of Carnatic music. Most of the ragas, they have healing properties. Is that really true? Does it have something to do with frequency? For example, when somebody sings Amritavarshini Raga, it is believed that it will rain. And the other day I was practicing Kanakana Ruchira, the Varali Ragam, and I had this feeling of stillness, emptiness. I don't know if that's correct. Or how is that happening?
Very good question. Yeah, we have this something called 432 hertz. That's a universal sound. I think I don't know much about it, but feeling, and it's equal to Om Pranava. So sound is powerful. Nadam is extremely powerful, and Nadam in itself has the power to heal. And I have done a lot of music healing when we used to live in America for just a short period of time, and I used to sing for patients, and they got healed. They don't know anything about Indian music or Carnatic music or any music, obviously, because it's the Western wide. They've never heard Carnatic music, Indian classical music, but they liked it. They don't even understand the language, but they like it. And even here, a lot of people come to me and say, "Oh, we felt, goosebumps and all that. We felt," and I get a lot of emails also after listening to my Narsimha Shabar. A lot of people got healed. Yes, I cannot. Because I don't know the spirituality, the science behind the Nadam, but what I can say from my experience, what I do is, let me put it this way, like this, when I sing, I invoke the Ishtadevam within me, because we are all instruments. I treat myself as an instrument. There's a beautiful line, Ullam Perum Koil Unadam Valayam. So we don't have to really look around. This body itself is a temple, and the Ishtadevam resides within us. So all we have to do is invoke that Ishtadevam, and automatically, if you've done enough tapas, the spiritual energy that comes out automatically heals. In fact, I have, because I was raised by Siddha Purusha, I've seen a lot of people coming to, get his blessings, and they just spend a few hours, and then they go home, they're healed. They get better. They come with some health problems, they get better. That's my mama.
Oh, okay.
So I was raised by him. So I've seen. So by just looking at them, by just looking at him, so many disciples got healed. So it is nothing but the energy, the spiritual energy. It doesn't matter whether that person walks or it comes out through music. It doesn't, it's basically energy. That's why I said, the tapas is very, very important. How much of sadhana you do to invoke that Ishta Devam within us. The Devam can be anybody. It can be your Kula Devam, can be your Mantra Japa Devam, or Ishtadeva, anybody. But you should do enough sadhana, the tapas, so that so that the energy, the spiritual energy that comes out from you is that Devam's energy that comes out. And you don't have to do anything. It will automatically heal the listener or anybody who comes to us. That spiritual energy is very, very important. This is my experience, and that's how I think that my music is healing everybody. But as you said, yes, Raga is very, very powerful. And to me, I see Raga as Devata. To me, Kalyani or Kambodi or Shankaravaram or Todi, everything is my Ishtadeva. To me. Because when I'm, let's say I sing Shanmukhpriya. Okay, now it doesn't have any words. This is a typical alapana. But now you put a word there. Murugan. Right? So if you don't know if you don't know who Muruga is, then also this Tananana is going to touch you. But if you know Muruga, or if you know, or the Muruga might be your Ishtadaivam or anybody, it will connect even more. But doesn't matter. Either way, it is going to heal you. Because that is the spiritual energy. This is my opinion. The spiritual energy is actually coming out through music. So,
okay, but before we move on to the next question, I did hear you sing Ullam Perum Kohil in many of the concerts, and I know it was a big hit. So I would love to hear you sing at least one line.
Oh, Ullam Perum.
Ullam Perum Kohil.
Can I?
Oh, yeah.
உள்ளம் பெரும் கோயில் ஊனுடம்பு ஆலயம் உள்ளம் பெரும் கோயில் ஊனுடம்பு ஆலயம் உள்ளம் பெரும் கோயில் ஊனுடம்பு ஆலயம் வள்ளல் பிரானார்க்கு வாய்கோபுரவாசல் தெள்ள தெளிந்தார்க்கு சீவன் சிவலிங்கம் தெள்ள தெளிந்தார்க்கு சீவன் சிவலிங்கம் கள்ள புலனைந்தும் காளா மணிவிளக்கே மணிவிளக்கே உள்ளம் பெரும் கோயில் உன்னுடம்பு ஆலயம் தெள்ள தெளிந்தார்க்கு ஜீவன் சிவலிங்கம்.
Wow, I don't know if you can see, I had goosebumps there. That was amazing.
So yeah, yata brahmand tata pind, we say yata pind tata brahmand. So whatever you see in this universe is within you. So it is everything. All as a musician, all I am doing is being an instrument for the Devam that is sitting within me. And the music is actually opening the tap within you. Okay, you have the tap within you, and the tap is giving you the Amrit, which is actually healing you on its own. Like how you need a guru to open the tap. The guru opens the tap by giving diksha or by just looking at you, by just giving you blessing. All I think I'm doing is through my music, because I'm invoking the Ishtadevam, that I'm doing japam almost 3-4 hours a day. In fact, I spend more time in doing japam than music, I would say. As your other question, how much of practice do you need? So that's, I do more of spiritual sadhana than musical sadhana. So I am only through my music, I am experiencing my Ishtadevam, as well as watching from outside how my Ishtadevam is actually touching you through the Sukshma Sharira. And it's how my Ishtadevam is opening the tap. The tap it's there within you. And by opening the tap, you're getting healed. The water flows within you and it fixes you.
Okay, amazing. We are all part of this world. People face problems every now and then. Throughout your life as well, you would have faced a lot of ups and downs. And there, especially in the music world, there would have been circumstances where you had to question if it's worth picking that as a career or, continuing the music. So talk to us about, how you overcame all those difficulties and what kept you pushing towards music.
Okay, it's a very good question. Everyone has to go through, because we've come here to get rid of all our karmas. Like everybody, we have a big chunk of karma. We come down. We have to get rid of all the karmas. There is no way we can escape, and the only thing that we can really do is become more and more spiritually aware and grow spiritually. That's the only thing that we can actually do, and that's the easiest thing actually. So what kept me going? I have had lots of problems in my life. I've experienced a lot of things in my life. In fact, near-death experiences as well. But what kept me going is the Ishtadeva, the love towards my Ishtadeva, the japam, the meditation, and experiencing the Ishtadevam through my own music. And when people come to me, tell that I got healed, again, the gratitude towards again my Ishtadevam, because I'm just an instrument. And the realization of me only an instrument. When we realize I'm just an instrument, and the music that flows from me is the spiritual energy of the Ishtadevam that I have invoked, and that energy is taking care of the person. It is opening the tap, not me. And then the water automatically falls and you get healed, or everybody gets healed through the music. It's not my music. That realization, that spiritual awakening, that realization is made me, kept me going. And as I first said, my intention is not to. If I want appreciation from the audience, I don't want. That's not what I want. It's what I want is enjoy, experience the Ishtadevam, keep experiencing while performing, while singing. Doesn't matter whether I sing in the house or on the stage with the other musicians, doesn't really matter. Because I developed that mindset, it kept me going. So that is basically spiritual growth or spiritual enlightenment is what I would recommend to anybody.
Okay. So would you say it's kind of equivalent to the Kundalini awakening?
Awakening, probably, yeah. We can say Kundalini awakening, or you can even say overflowing bhakti towards your Ishtadevam. Kundalini awakening, yes, definitely. I would say that. Spiritual awakening.
If you were not a musician today, what would you be?
Healer.
Okay. You taught me the Uchista Ganapati Kantuvarali Kriti. So I've never heard about Uchista Ganapati before. So I went up online and I started searching for it, and a lot of the searches or the videos that came up, what it indicated was Uchista Ganapati is tantric in nature, and a lot of people were doing things that I normally wouldn't see in a divine setup. So and by the way, that's a beautiful composition, by Muthuswami Dikshitar, and you also mentioned it's the only composition on Uchista Ganapati. So that's what, so when you hear the word tantric, immediately somebody like me or anyone would think of it as black magic. Kala Jadoo or Billy Sunyam, whatever you want to call it. So what does Tantra actually mean? Like what does tantric mean?
See,
We'll